3, 2, 1, go.
All right. As far as the deadlines go, it's about what could happen and what couldn't happen. The NBA trade deadline is more about the trade, the putting pieces together. It's more like a puzzle, and it's more like a game on ESPN.com. As far as MLB goes, I mean, it's still fun to see like what could happen, where could Aroldis Chapman go, but it's a lot less fun because there's still a month where you can still make deals. In the month of August, there's the non-waiver trade deadline. Do you wish that the NBA would go to that model too, where there's still another month, or do you think it makes it less fun of a trade deadline?
In the NBA, I think it would makes it less fun. I'm not a huge NBA guy anymore. I don't like the way the league has evolved and the game has evolved over the past few years. Like I said earlier, bringing a piece in the NBA at the deadline is there's so much chemistry involved into a team playing together. It can almost be detrimental depending on the position. I mean, if you need a pure scorer and you go out and you trade for a Ray Allen or you bring him in at the deadline, or if you need a shot blocker and you can bring one in at the deadline, that can be fun for the fans, and it could take a contender a round deeper into the playoffs. But you don't see the big moves that happen in MLB in the other sports. Hockey is a tad bit different. You do see some of those big moves at their trade deadline. But in the NBA, I don't see how changing their system would make it more impactful. I don't want to say fun or not fun. I don't think it would make it more impactful because I just don't think the trades at the deadline in the NBA are that impactful as they are.
Do you think with baseball, well, obviously there's never the last big trade at the deadline was probably star for star was probably Mitch Richmond for Chris Webber in like 98.
Yeah.
And you look at like Melo moved not at the deadline but close to it. And there's been big names moved around that time, but there's never been like that kind of screwed like the Knicks. Yeah, they got Carmelo, but they traded away Gallinari, Mozgov, and Chandler. And everybody wants to say, well, those guys are not all-stars. Those guys aren't superstars. Yeah, but those are good pieces to have around a Melo. And not to say that a Gallinari, yes, Gallinari's got injured, and Wilson Chandler's had injury problems since then. But you can't say that in the moment. You can't be like, oh, well, those guys are nice pieces. Those guys aren't nice pieces to have around a Melo and Amari and whoever it may be.
Right.
I feel like in baseball, it's easier to give up a star, get a couple of nice pieces to go along with them,
right,
and be fine in the long run because the team aspect is more significant in baseball than it is in any other sport. I guess the chemistry is more important than any other sport.
Yeah, and also when you're talking about these big deals in baseball, it's usually a star for future stars, projected stars. You're not taking as much away from your big league team as you do in the NBA. You mentioned some really good, solid NBA pieces. Where in baseball, you're talking about bringing in a Chris Sale and a Benintendi or a series of prospects. It doesn't take away from what you have on the field now. Normally, there might be another bench player. There might be somebody that is removed from the clubhouse that people really like, but it doesn't really change the dynamic of the big league team. And this is where baseball is very special because they have their minor league system to build off of and use in this way that other sports just don't have. I mean, if you're the Raiders, you cannot trade somebody from USC in a package to bring somebody in. I mean, you could trade a future draft pick, but that's it's not the same as it is in Major League Baseball, and that's what another thing that makes it so special, because all these people they sit there and they read their Moneyball stuff and who can I get for this and what prospect is going to fit best into this kind of system a year or two from now when I trade this big piece. You can use one big piece to completely rebuild your organization, and you can't do that in the other sports. In football or in basketball, both teams are looking for basically immediate help right now. You can see what Danny Ainge did in the trade with the Nets and bringing all these draft picks in. The only thing is, Danny Ainge forgot this isn't 1987 anymore, and those draft picks aren't worth as much as they were back then when he was playing. Yeah,
and it's a lot easier. It was a lot easier when Red Auerbach was tricking people with draft picks than it is when you're Danny Ainge doing it. Granted, he did a good job with convincing the Timberwolves that Sebastian Telfair, Al Jefferson, and God knows what else was going to be a good combination to replace Kevin Garnett. But I think as far as with baseball, it's more important. Like if you're going to just fit in it's way easier to fit in a star pitcher,
exactly.
Like, okay, all right, well, because an ace is tough to come by, whether it be getting a Cliff Lee at the deadline or getting a John Lester or somebody like that. He's not really a superstar or an ace anymore. But I mean, you look at how important an ace is, and you just look right at the San Francisco Giants and their 3 World Series winners. I mean, it was Bumgarner and at least one. Then you got Lincecum, you got Matt Cain, and their hands in some. But for the most part, other than Buster Posey, and even with Buster Posey, they don't really have a superstar at all. No. And it all comes down to pitching with them. And I don't think it comes down to pitching with everybody. But for as long as you have that one ace and then a couple of good pieces around them, that's what you need to build around. And I think people take way too much into account the hitting aspect, especially nowadays.
Right, and especially in the when it comes playoff time. You see averages and numbers drop so dramatically when players are faced with top level pitchers for 4, 5, 6, 7 games in a row. It's very rare when you find a hitter that's going to excel in that kind of atmosphere. There are very few Manny Ramirez's out there in the world that when the spotlight's on and the best pitchers in the world are on the mound, they simply flip a switch or it doesn't matter because they are that good. I'm sorry, I hate to keep going back to Red Sox, but that's
understandable. I go back to the Knicks all the time.
Yeah. That's just the way it is. Or Ken Griffey Jr.'s, unfortunately, he didn't have enough chances to do that because even though he was on great hitting teams, they never had the pitching. It all comes down to that and how much you're willing to give up for that. Great pitching wins you in the postseason. Great hitting fills your stadium for 100 and for 82 games out of the year.
Well, on that note, Thomas, would you like to tell everybody where we can find you on Twitter, the internets, where we can find your writing, all that good stuff?
Sure. Thank you. You could find me on Twitter at TMurph207. You can read me at ProFootballCentral.com and also at in the place that I just started writing that I'll get to the next time that I'm on that I'm not supposed to talk about right now.
Okay, fair enough.
But I want to thank you guys for having me on. It's always a joy, and I appreciate it. And you all take care, and we'll talk again real soon.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it, Thomas, and we'll talk again soon. We'll be right back here on the Bob Sullivan Show here on the LateNightSportsRadio.com.
We don't have to sacrifice. We don't have to change our ways. Just keep rolling on and on. Sleep through days and days and days. We work all day and nothing gets done. We don't really care, just passing time. We pass the days, the months, the years. We cash our checks, we lose our souls, we hide our tears. My brain is getting numb, my heart is getting weak, my body's getting old. I'm having trouble speaking, and my eyes can't make believe that they still see. I point to all of this, I'm walking away, I'm leaving no regrets. The end begins today, because this inconsequential life, it's killing me. It's killing me. Time keeps rolling like a snowball, faster and faster as it goes downhill. The youth you thought would never end it all. Oh, how you wish you could make the time stand still. And all the dreams you have protected, you tuck them away up on a shelf. Well, it seems they felt neglected and ran off with somebody else. My brain is getting numb, my heart is getting weak, my body's getting old. I'm having trouble speaking, and my eyes can't make believe that they still see. I point to all of this, I'm walking away, I'm leaving no regrets. The end begins today, because this inconsequential life, it's killing me. Feels like I'm lost with no direction. Feels like I'm blowing in the wind. And this is the end. My brain is getting numb, my heart is getting weak, my body's getting old. I'm having trouble speaking, and my eyes can't make believe that they still see. I point to all of this, I'm walking away, I'm leaving no regrets. The end begins today, because this inconsequential life, it's killing me. It's killing me. Yeah, it's killing me. It's killing me. A lost or found love, lying by your side. Take another second to keep breathing in the moment before it's gone. You never know when love is lost until you find just what it costs to be wrong. I wonder if you
he's filled with desire. The trance of life is all around, a chance to take is always found. Oh, writing on lullabies, I'm alone in living life. Oh, in the final hours of night, do you remember? Lost or found, love lying by your side. In the final hours of night, do you remember? Lost or found, love lying by your side. Take another second to keep breathing in the moment before it's gone. Never know when love is lost until you find just what it costs to be wrong. I wonder if you think of me passing by, you think you see me come. I wonder if you pull me in, kiss me just one time again. The final hours of night, do you remember? Lost or found, love lying by your side. In the final hours of night, do you remember? Lost or found, love lying by your side. In the final hours of night, do you remember? Hours of night, do you remember? Lost or found, love lying by your side. In the final hours of night, do you remember? Lost or found, love lying by your side.
Who the hell can wait till morning? Talk now at latenightsportsradio.com.
Welcome back to the Bob Sullivan Show. LateNightSportsRadio.com. I am joined here by Salem. Salem, how are you doing?
Pretty good.
Welcome to the show. First time, long time listener. Salem, what are you up to tonight?
Man, honestly, man, just having a good time, man, enjoying life.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You were I just want to point this out. You were the first to ask for to have demands to be on the show.
Hey, man, I felt like I had something to say, man. So
No, demands as far as wanting something in return for being on the show.
Oh, yeah, that burrito.
Yeah. I apologize. I was not able to deliver on the burrito, but I do have $5 to pay you as far as for your time.
Dude, no. That burrito we had last time, dude, was so, dude, it was, I can't explain.
De Leon's is maybe the best. Okay, there's 3 of them. De Leon's, Abelardo's, and Lena's.
Lena's, yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, okay, De Leon's, their only missing ingredient is the queso. They don't have queso.
But they have something. They have like a white sauce that they put on the burritos that tastes considerably close to it.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, that was the demand.
That was the one demand that I've ever had. Like, I've had pro athletes, I've had writers on, and never have I had a demand that was a burrito from De Leon's. But,
yeah, I had to have it, man. It was like,
and actually, I didn't deliver on it. I remember I have yet to deliver on that.
It's all good, man. It's all good.
Okay, as far as I will say this, I need to understand. So we have gone to De Leon's, which is, for those of you that don't live in Omaha, Nebraska, it's a Mexican restaurant that is open 24 hours as a drive-through. It's very delicious. As is
Amazing.
Yes, it's amazing. And Abelardo's, same thing. Amazing. Lena's, same thing. The problem is with Mexican restaurants, there's occasional times where I see a burrito where they say, get a burrito with enchilada sauce on it. How is that any different than just a regular enchilada? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
how is a burrito smothered in enchilada sauce any different than an enchilada?
I think more so what it is, it's like...
Because you still can't pick it up.
Yeah, but the enchilada has different ingredients than whatever burrito you choose. You know what I'm saying?
You could still get steak or ground beef or chicken in an enchilada, though.
Yeah, but man, I don't know if you didn't crack one of them burritos open, man. They got everything. They got
Potatoes?
Yeah, no, guacamole, man. Dude, it's a fantastic creation that I'm blessed to be able to enjoy.
All right. Well, I was going to have you on because we had a spirited discussion about everything.
Yeah, about life.
Life. Was it last Saturday or last Friday?
I think it was last Saturday.
Okay.
No, it was Friday because it was Friday.
Okay. Well, we had a spirited discussion, and you were unaware of my show, but I wanted to have you on my show.
Yeah.
So we've I don't know exactly what we want to talk about because it's not because now we actually have a microphone in front of us. But what would you like to talk about?
Man, I just want to get a few things like squared away. That's really pretty much all I want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not really like my perspective or like what I think exists, but it's just like something I want people to take a deeper look at. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to make nobody believe a certain thing or feel a certain way, but just to begin to, I don't know, just stop being so egotistical. I'll say being pridefully ignorant. I'll put it like that. I'll use pride over ego, but yeah, it's pretty much. I'll start by saying this. So, I pretty much grew up my whole life being something close to being atheist. You know, I grew up in church. You know what I'm saying, and me, my dad, and my brothers, we played the music for the church. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
me and my brothers got a kick out of just like when the preacher was talking, we would like play our music. We would play a song we heard on the radio, like play the beat to that song, like in the background, like, and we playing music was like what really, I'll say me, I can't speak for my brothers because they're not here right now, and I'm the youngest by like at least 8 years, but
Right.
you know, that's what kept me into it. And I guess I looked at it from like a logical standpoint, and most of it really didn't make sense to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it made no sense. I mean, I understood what they were saying, but I mean, it just didn't make sense. I felt like, you know, we were reading about some dude who pretty much could heal anything and do anything, and then
He could say, do, and make whatever he wanted.
yeah, like it was like I was
Well, it
like,
sounded like a tall tale.
well, not that. I was just like, this dude is dope, man. Like, I like this dude. But then, you know, people don't really understand or catch the point to where he said, greater things than this will you do. And so I'm like, all right, that was like 2,000 years ago.
Right.
And ain't nobody put their hands on nobody and healed them from leprosy, or somebody that had been blind and just spit in some mud and, you know, kind of fix that. Then I felt like something is wrong. And I mean, there were a lot of other things that tied into.
Well, like, why could only those things be cured then, and why can't they be cured? No, I'm not saying. No, I'm not putting those words in your mouth. But as far as I'm concerned,
I just
that's
felt
kind of like, okay, if some guy can go and cure those things now or then, 2,000 years ago, and they can't be cured now. Well, okay, what's going on?
Well, when I look at it, man, or I looked at it, I mean, I went to church for all the wrong reasons, man. My dad was a preacher, you know what I'm saying? Like, my head was not in the right place whatsoever. And I mean whatsoever. I mean whatsoever.
Yeah.
And you know, I grew my life kind of. I think I believed in God, but I just didn't really believe. I didn't have no reason to believe it. Like, so pretty much during church, this dude on stage is telling me about God and how to live right to please God. But then when he gets off stage, he treats people differently than what he's talking about on a continual basis that lasted for 17 years of my life. And I look at it and I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. But, you know, I'll go ahead and skip my whole life and what happened. And here's what I understood so far. You know, people, if you believe in a certain religion, that's what you believe. And we're too caught up in society with forcing our...
I disagree.
Well, I'll put it like this. We're too caught up in society to force our perspective on somebody else. Like, if you don't see things the way I see things, I take that offensively. That's the way the society thinks right now. Like, we think that you have something against us or them because you disagree with our perspective. Dude, we are brothers and sisters. All right, check this out. Same mom and dad, blood related. They look different. They act different. The way they do things are different. Which shows you, with the same blood being in them, people are different. That's just kind of how it goes.
Yeah.
Now, you know, I feel like people, and I do believe in God. I call him the Father, and I feel like my approach to understanding is different, but I pretty much admit that I don't know nothing. You know what I'm saying? And so it's almost like becoming like a 5-year-old almost.
I don't think anybody knows anything.
But exactly. That's the thing. So you got people arguing.
It's a guessing game.
But you got people arguing about what they think.
Not just arguing, killing each other.
And so before the reason, just so everyone knows, I was late by like 45 minutes. But
yes. the reason, I already pointed that out on the show.
The reason why I was late is because I was having an unexpected conversation about what we're talking about now with this one lady, and like it blew my mind because she said she was atheist, and I was like, oh, you know, like I get that, you know what I'm saying? But I don't believe, I know that I didn't create myself. And people say, oh, the Big Bang Theory, you know what I'm saying? Which obviously could be true as well. We weren't there. We don't know how things really work, you know what I'm saying? But the thing is that we didn't create ourselves. And I feel like if you can admit that, then, or bro, I just told you earlier before we hopped online, but I was like, dude, like, you look outside, the trees, they suck in carbon monoxide and shoot out oxygen, right? They exhale oxygen.
Yeah.
We suck in oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide. And for me, I'm just like, there's no way that this is like just some accident that like happened because things happen to go a certain way. But even if that was the case, there's a higher process that must be acknowledged.
Right.
And it may not be for us to understand the full complexity of our creation. That may not be what we're supposed to know. You know, I don't know. But what I do know is the way that things are going right now in life, when it comes to what people are living their life, things are wrong, man. Things are clearly wrong.
Right. People
are unhappy with doing the things that they were told would make them happy. You know what I'm saying?
I hate my life.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, so, and I guess what really helped me is I was able to live a kind of weird, I call it a duality. So my dad stayed up here because he was a plumber. And when my mom and dad split, I was able to stay with her kind of like 50-50. And she stayed in Marganza, Louisiana. And if anyone is familiar with Marganza, Louisiana, it's like, it's not the swamp. It's not like, but it's like the country. Like you
backwoods.
You think about country, and that's country. Like that's country.
Well, like Karl Malone.
Like backwards. You got like you got 10 on your roof. Like it's country. And so my buddies down there, you know, we always thought that money would solve all of our issues. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? We just had some money. You know what I'm saying? We just had this and this and this, then we'll be good. But then when I stayed up here and I went to West Side, you know what I'm saying? Like all my friends had all of that. They had the money. You know what I'm saying? They had that so-called sponsorship. You know what I'm saying? They had all of that. But they had bigger problems than even my buddies had. And so I was able to see, I mean, and live it, to know that money is not what happiness is. And while we claim to already know that, we don't. We don't know that. You know what I'm saying? And so at an early age, I was like, I have to find out if I'm going to be alive, right? If I'm going to be, you know, enduring, you know, each breath as I get it, I want to do my best to make sure I'm doing it the right way. And so as I was talking with this lady, as I was, you know, purposely being late, she had on an atheist ring.
What the hell does that mean?
I don't know.
An atheist ring?
She had on a ring that had on, like, I don't know if it's an atheist, but my neighbor had.
Did it have just a corpse rotting in the ground?
I don't know. I didn't like look at it too closely, but my neighbor kind of like was like, "What's that on your finger?" Because it was like an all black ring that she had on her wedding finger or whatever. And
so she's married to nothing.
Yeah. I guess so.
Okay.
And she brought up like a couple times, like before we start talking about it, she was like, I don't know how you guys like deal with me being an atheist and this and this and this. And she said it a lot of times. Mm-hmm. And I looked at it. I was like, all right, so you want to be known as being an atheist. Like, you're not just saying it because if you don't know or you don't believe in something, then you don't have to like announce it. And I feel like if you are confident in knowing and feeling like nothing does exist, then you won't get mad at me. You won't have like a very aggressive argument with me about what you feel, because that's what you feel. You know what I'm saying? And like, I had to break it down to her, you know what I'm saying? That like, I wasn't trying to change her mind, because I was like, you're arguing with me about logic. And I was like, I'm not saying that I believe in religion.
But she could say the same thing about you.
No, but see, I wasn't arguing. I'm going to tell you, check this out, man. You can feel how you want to feel. And I'm not saying that I'm going to like, you know, disagree with you or argue with you. That's not, because whatever, check this out. How you feel is an accumulative of what you've been through and your thoughts thus far. So I'm not saying you can't learn something, because you can.
Yeah.
But if someone feels so strongly about something, maybe you could say something that could open their mind. But if you're trying to change somebody's mind, you know, like the old saying says, man, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. That's kind of how it goes, you know what I'm saying? But I'm happy. I'm so happy to admit that I don't know. And while I admit that you don't know, yes, a lot of stuff out there, your mind could wander and stuff like that. But if your heart is truly, and I don't think I know this for myself. I can't. I'm gonna start saying me, not saying if you. I'm gonna start saying me. I know for myself that if I truly seek the Father, you know, I like feeling, not feeling, but knowing, like, you know, the whole Father and Son thing. Obviously, you created me, then I'm here for a reason. That's how I see it. But I don't know. It's just, I feel like people, we argue about something that we don't know nothing about. Like, so imagine an ant walking past our foot, and that ant arguing with another ant about how our brain works. You know, like that's not how it works. They can argue all day, or they can agree all day, and still never be able to comprehend how we think. You know what I'm saying? It's just a way higher consciousness.
Yeah, but why? Oh, go ahead.
Well, okay, but I mean, like, I feel like everybody wants. All right, peep this out.
Everybody wants to know everything,
but we know nothing. But we know nothing, and it baffles me, man. Because
okay, but do we know nothing?
I feel like, all right, check this out. So when a dog is born, or any animal is born,
we are able to determine. Okay, maybe it could be all made up. Okay, it could be all made up. I mean, there's. Okay, when a scientist says, I don't think it is, but when a scientist says, you can train a dog to, like, you can learn the mindset of a dog. You can learn the smartness of a dog. You can learn the smartness of a rat, the smartness of anything. I guess it's not smartness. Is smartness? That's not a word. The intelligence. That's the word I'm looking for. You can learn the intelligence of all these animals. And, maybe, when they say a pig is the most intelligent animal, or is an intelligent animal, yet it rolls around in mud and its own shit. I don't understand. Like, you know what I mean? Like, where it's like, there's stuff where that I guess that gives clearance to your theory that we don't know everything.
Well, I mean, all right, dude. I mean, people. I'm not gonna. I hate when I talk and it sounds like I'm just so removed from society. Society is so like, society. I hate when I
don't like society. That's why I try to stay away.
Yeah,
from it.
but at the same time, we're a part of it, man. That's kind of how it works,
Yeah.
But I mean, overall. We are.
I don't like people just as much as you don't like people.
yeah. But see, think about. I don't like them. I love them, but I don't like them because I love them too much. Like I love talking to people. I can't heal everyone's problems. I'm working on trying to correct my own. But our ego and our pride. You know what I'm saying? Like you even look at it like this, right? So I have a dog. I have a mastiff. He's a Cane Corso. His name is Zion, right?
Yeah.
So if I look at my dog's teeth,
he's a little bit of a dick.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he literally, like, I'm not antisocial, but I am, and I'm like a hermit. So like, he knows that like I'm daddy, but he puts himself like right below me, and he's 10 months and he's huge. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, he has the right to be an asshole. He just don't bite nobody.
Right.
But long story short, I guess what I'm really trying to say is, it's all right. And she was arguing with me about, like, I told her about the golden rule: just treat everybody you want to be treated. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the purpose of knowing how the universe works and still being a butthole? Sorry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're good.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and still being like rude and just mean to people. So you learn all of that, just become super corrosive to everybody around you. Or you could be humble and try your best to understand and care about everybody and love them. And love, we use that word so much, but don't know what it means. Love is not like
the way you say it.
Well, love is not like the walking around and like the butterflies flying everywhere and unicorns kissing each other in the pasture. You know what I'm saying? That's not how things work. Love is actually it actually hurts, because love. If you love somebody, I say me. I love my family and I love my best friends. I love my brothers. And because I love them, I do my best to keep things direct and to where I give them a genuine interaction all the time. I feel like the pureness of love, I don't know. I still don't know. But I guess what I'm saying, like, people, we have to admit that we don't know to learn. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're perpetuating the cycle. And think about it, the Bible can make sense. I read it, and I have a different understanding, you know what I'm saying? And I look at it different.
I've been forced to read it.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's kind of hard to kind of get somebody to understand I'm not with them, you know what I'm saying? But I understand how it's portrayed unto me. I probably can't do it for the next person next to me. But what I'm saying is, if people really want to know about God and about the Creator, about the universe, we argue about names. We argue about names, and it's so stupid. We argue about names, like when
why did they name him Terry?
What? Huh?
Why did your parents name you Terry?
Well, no, not just that, but like people argue about the name of God, and they fight about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy.
Like, who is your God?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
And really, at the end of the day, it's like, what does it matter?
Well, see, the thing about it is, like...
I understand, like, why some people, like, well, your God's name can be God. Here's God's name can be Muhammad. Your God's name can be Jesus. Your God's what I mean. At the end of the day, it doesn't really. It matters. Like, does that make you any worse of a religious person for allowing other people to have their own beliefs?
Yeah, I'll say
that's the thing. Is people believe that it's.
I'll put it like this. You know what I'm saying, and this is my observation. You know. It's an artist named J. Cole, and you know,
yeah.
I think he's a good artist. You know, we different in a lot of ways, but he's different than me. But on his last album, it was like 2014 Forest Hill Drive, and I like that's probably one of the only albums I've probably played all the way through. But the song that not the song, but the track that I enjoyed the most was The Credits, was the last one. And he said something that made perfect sense, and it's the truth. Like it said, just love, man. That's what matters is love. Like love. Like when someone is hungry and you don't even know them, and you give them some money to get something to eat.
Right.
Not because I might as well. They asked me, but you did it out of your heart. That makes you feel good. Helping somebody out of not because you a camera was in your face or you know. Somebody, you know, hashtag so-and-so gave me some money. Like, you did it because that was in your heart to do it. You know what I'm saying? It makes you feel good. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's crazy because I feel like it's almost like the Matrix. I'll put it like that. To where, you know, you take... It
amounts to nothing?
Well, yeah. But, you know, you take the pill and all of a sudden, you know, 100%... that what you've been living your whole life is a lie. And now you wake up to knowing that there's actually a lot more going on. To where you wake up and you know nothing. You know nothing now. But at least you don't believe in the deception that you once thought was true. You know what I'm saying? And I guess that's where I'm at. And then talking to people... Like, you know, I have a girl that I'm interested in. Her name is Danielle. Oh. And she...
Could we get into this in our next...
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. Well, when we come back, I'll be joined by Pat Morey, coach of Fort Worth Whitetails in Texas. They're headed to the NBC World Series right here on the Bob Sullivan Show here on LateNightSportsRadio.com.
Baby, you're a mystery. Tell me what's a girl gotta do. Looking at the history doesn't seem to give any clue. Just when I think I understand it all, you seem to unravel some more. Ooh, la, 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 ooh, I never know nobody like you. Ooh, la, 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 ooh, now I know I'm the neighbor. Ooh, la, 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 oh. Yeah, you keep me guessing on confessing now, well, baby, it's true. I never know nobody like you. Baby, you're an enigma. Baby, you're a riddle. I'm caught up in the middle of you. I'm trying to think bigger, but I can't seem to figure it through. I wanna make it better, but now I'm scared of looking a fool. Oh, baby, no, I've never been very good at playing it cool. Just when I think I understand it all, I find I know nothing at all. Ooh, I never know nobody like you. Ooh, la, 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 ooh, now I know I'm the
Who the hell can wait till morning? Talk now at latenightsportsradio.com.
Welcome back to the Bob Sullivan Show here on Late Night Sports Radio. I am joined here in hour number 2 by Pat Morey, assistant baseball coach at McCook Community College and head coach of the Fort Worth Whitetails, champs of the GSWCL and the NBC. How are you doing today, Pat?
I'm doing well, man. How about yourself?
I am not doing too poorly. Congrats on the championship. I am very happy for you, Pat. One of the only coaches that I've gone to get a soda with in Omaha that has won a championship.
I heard our former teams, or I guess your current team, had a couple of decent battles this year.
Yeah, we lost to your former team in districts. Rock Holly lost to Mount Michael in districts, and that was one of the sore moments of my career. My first loss to Mount Michael.
Yeah, no, that is the case. We never really had when I was there, we couldn't never get over the hump against you.
Yeah, I mean, I always I think our first meeting was in districts at Blair when you guys beat Bennington to ensure that we would go to state for the first time in like 10 years because you guys were hosting state, and
we were hosting.
Yeah, I went out and thanked you during your guys' celebration after beating Bennington, which probably not the classiest move as a coach, but I did it anyway.
Hey, you were talking to a team that won like 4 games all year, so it made life a lot easier on both of us. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, we had our battles over the years. We had our sodas over the years, but as far as you've definitely taken advantage of being a coach in baseball more than I have. Being a coach for the NBC. Coaching, college baseball players in a summer league. What is that like?
Yeah, I mean, it was a blast down here. It was the first year league for the Great Southwest Collegiate League, and to be a part of this league with our commissioner Barrett Weaver running it was an absolute blast. And then having the opportunity to represent us as a first year league at the NBC, which I mean, as you know, one of the most prestigious things outside of the Cape and Northwoods that you can be a part of with summer college baseball is a huge honor.
How much of it was it like summer catch with Freddie Prinze Jr.? Who was the Freddie Prinze Jr. of your team?
We had a couple. We had a couple girls in the stands telling our little second baseman to keep his shoulder in and all that type of stuff. So we had a couple of summer catch moments, but outside of that, very, very few.
With the as far as a baseball movie, what would you compare your experience like as a coach? Who would you compare yourself most to as a manager in baseball movies?
I don't know. Lou Brown. The happy-go-lucky guy that would rather sell some white walls than coach a Major League Baseball team, but when he decides to do it, he wins an American League championship. I'd like to compare myself to him.
That's a good comparison. I think you're a little less gruff than he is. I mean, I haven't played for you, but in my knowing you, I would not compare you to him as far as being gruff.
My voice isn't as deep, but my language can be just as bad.
Yeah, it can, and it can be just as entertaining. And
that's true.
And I guess I could see you hanging up on an opportunity to coach in a college baseball league like this.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to sell some tires to some people instead of coaching baseball.
As far as with coaching a summer baseball league versus coaching an actual junior college league. My experience in coaching high school baseball and then going and coaching a fall baseball league, a league that, it matters, but it doesn't really matter as far as kids getting better.
Right.
I hated it. I despised it because there was the kids that wanted to be there. There was the kids that didn't want to be there. And it just made me hate baseball for about 3 months. What was your feeling as far as coaching, a college league, that there is something to play for, but it's not your own college. It's not your own pride. How was it different coaching this versus coaching your actual JUCO?
It truly isn't a too much of a difference from your experience, except that, players in our league or anyone who's playing collegiate summer league wants to be there. Because if they don't, they find out really quick that it's just not that much fun, that they're probably not performing well, so they leave. You don't have to say much to those kids. They get out of there. So it's one of those to where it's all the benefits of coaching at the high school level, to where we all enjoyed those kids that really wanted to play every day and wanted to come up and learn. And then you add the college level to it, so you can actually kind of have conversations and work through, some, I won't say slumps because the season's so short, that there really isn't any. You get 2 hits a week and all of a sudden your average can jump 100 points. But, it's a fun, quick season to where you have a lot of kids that just want to play baseball and, continue to keep playing at a competitive level.
What would you compare it to as far as, obviously you're going to have your bad teams, but what are your bad teams consisted of? Are they consisted of guys that are just trying to have fun in college baseball? What are the parameters for playing in NBC?
Playing in the NBC, you're not going to have a bad team there. It's one of those to where you gotta qualify to get in that tournament. Like we had to win our league just to qualify for this initial pool play round. That they're starting up this year. But like a bad summer collegiate team can still consist of 4 or 5 Division I baseball players. Because that's in our league. The team that finished with the worst record had 3 D1 baseball guys on it, and about 8 to 10 D2 guys, and then the rest were JUCO guys. So it's one of those to where the talent level's still all there. It's just kind of how they can gel together to, win out those grind out type baseball games.
Do you have specifics from coaches as far as, hey, you can't pitch this guy this many innings, or what are your ground rules as far as pitching a guy, innings limits, fielding limits? What are your limits as far as being a coach? Do you have any rules from D1 coaches, JUCO coach? How do you go
right.
about this team?
I was a little luckier this year. I only had really one guy that was on a pitch count per se, or an innings limit per se. But, his college coach really just wanted to get him innings out of the bullpen. And basically we did that all year until he said he wanted to get more innings. So we started him the last 2 weeks and, just to get his innings up. And, he actually decided to not play with us in the postseason to try and do the weighted ball, long toss, and all that type of stuff to try and gain a couple miles an hour before he goes back to his Division I program. So, really, I got a little bit on the luckier side this year to where I had a lot of guys that were free to throw. Now, no one threw over 42 innings in the summer. That's going back to a school. You know, the couple guys that we had above that line were graduated seniors who were pitching for an independent contract.
What is your stance as far as pitching go? Like, are you very? I'm very okay. If you're able to pitch, you can pitch until you got. If it's the end of the year and your arm's a little sore, you got 7 months to get it back into shape, or you're not going to need surgery. That's my theory, is you're not going to need surgery if your arm's just a little sore. It's just getting innings out of people at the latest you possibly can. What is your, how do you feel about, when there's coaches out there that are like, oh, pitch count is such a big deal? Are you more about pitch count or the rest?
I'm a little bit of both. And none of our starters over this summer went above. We had one guy that even went over the 100 mark, but that was his one start per 3 weeks. He was kind of a spot guy for us, and this was his last year of competitive baseball, but everyone else for us stayed under about 95 pitches, 95, 97 pitches, right in that range. But with that being said, I'm not a huge pitch count guy. I'm more of a stressful pitches / letting their body kind of tell me when they're done. Velocity plays a little bit of a key. If their velo drops 5-6 miles an hour. But for me, it's mostly you look tired, your breaking ball is less sharp, you're not commanding as much. That's when you're going to try and do something stupid and hurt yourself. So that's for me. That's when I make that move. But I was lucky this year to where, like I said, by the time that was happening, they were about the time where we were going to pull them if we were a hard pitch count guy. So, they would get their one start a week and be out of there within the 85, 95 pitch count range / 7 innings a week.
What is your biggest criticism of Little League baseball?
That's a pretty loaded question. You know that.
Yeah, I do.
I'll put it this way: anywhere from Little League up to what you're coaching right now. So the high school JV level.
Yeah.
There's way too much of an emphasis to try and force those kids into a position / win than it should be more on a development side.
Okay.
For the simple fact, for most kids that are going to go play college baseball, meaning, the middle of D2 level, the NAIA level, the D3 level, the D1, D2, D3 JUCO guys, there's a lot of kids that have zero idea they're even good enough to play college baseball at any of those levels, if not even D1, by the time they're a sophomore in college or a sophomore in high school. So to try and pigeonhole that kid that say he's a left fielder just because he's fast, and then have him just being an outfielder from 10 to 15 years old, gives him zero chance of being an infielder at the next level, which pigeonholes him on spots that are available.
Okay.
If that kid could technically be a second baseman, maybe even a bad shortstop and all 3 outfield spots, as well as I do, that kid's going to get a lot of looks from places, that have money to offer.
Okay. What if you're if you don't have a catcher?
Right.
And I know it's unfair to a kid to, but you have to find that's the most important position on the field, is you can't do anything as a team if you don't have a catcher. So the most important thing is if you don't have a catcher, find a catcher. which means
Right.
starting with your best athlete or one of your better athletes, and then putting them in behind the plate. That's always my standpoint. Is okay. Start with your best athlete, put him behind the plate, and then your best athlete that's not a shortstop, put him behind the plate. If he doesn't work out, then go to your next couple option. They're the guy that with the best bat, then your guy with the best arm, then you just kind of go from there. That's my thing with coaching is if you don't have a catcher, you got to kind of take some risks as far as catching goes. And I've been blessed 3 or 4 years with good catchers. But we had to develop one or two this year where it was just like we had to kind of roll the dice with a couple guys. But where would you like? Is that robbing a kid? If I'm not questioning, I'm just saying, like, would you, if a kid has a chance to be a good third baseman or a good shortstop, and you put him at catcher, I feel like that's benefiting the kid that he has a chance to play catcher, which is a spot that a lot of these kids at the high school level don't want to play. And a lot of kids at any level don't want to play, period. I think like catching opens up a lot of opportunities for you.
Well, the game's always one up the middle, so, and with that being said, it's always pitching, it's always catching, it's the shortstop, the center fielder, and then kind of a little bit in the distance, the second baseman. But with that being said, if you're a catcher, you're going to get maybe a couple more looks. For most high school coaches that I contact that are in that, Class B, maybe smaller town, less population, maybe a little bit lower of a talent, level day in, day out. I get a lot of, well, he's a catcher for me, but really he's going to be a second baseman. Or he's a center fielder for me, but he's really a left fielder. So I don't disagree with you, and I don't believe it hinders a kid's progression. But it's one of those to where you almost make him a little bit more valuable, saying he can catch and be a third baseman at the same time.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. I guess that's. He has the capabilities of doing both, I guess. Yeah.
Right.
He could be like he's an emergency catcher.
To fully answer you, like if you sit there and stuck him back there for 50 games a year at catcher, and then his off dates he only played third base. Well, if he projects at a third baseman at the next level, at the collegiate level, then you're doing a little bit of a disservice. But to say he split time between third base and catcher, that just makes him more of a versatile player. To whereas wherever he goes off to, if his starting catcher goes down, all of a sudden you can get yourself on the field, as a catcher, even though you got your scholarship as a third baseman, or vice versa.
Okay, last couple questions before I let you go. Where, as far as going to Wichita, what is the? Have you scouted any of these teams going to Wichita? What is your knowledge of the champions that are heading to Wichita for the World Series?
We are going in blind as a sense of I don't know, what kids are truly throwing, velocity wise, secondary stuff wise, how will they hit, that type of deal. But knowing the NBC like I do, I've been there a couple of times as a fan when my cousin played for a team that qualified, and it was one of those to where you were going to see quality pitching. Now, that might be anywhere between an 83-mile-an-hour arm that has some really good secondary stuff to the higher-class velocity arms that are throwing, mid-90s, because there's about 5 or 6 teams there, if not more, that are going to have a staff of draftable talent. So we're going to go in a little bit blind to that, but we also know I guess I also know the quality of baseball that's going to be there. So our guys won't be shocked if all of a sudden that first day out, they see a guy that's 89 to 91, with some good off speed.
Yeah, it's a there's a combination. It's a double-sided sword as far as going into a baseball tournament, whether you know everything about a team or nothing about a team. And I feel like being either right in the middle, having a knowledge of what to expect, like a general expectation, is probably the best versus knowing everything about a team and over preparing. Because I like knowing a little bit about a team and knowing a little bit of what to expect versus knowing everything to expect and then over preparing.
Right.
I feel like the Tony Dungy approach to things is the best approach, where it's like, okay, you don't want to prepare for a team for 26 hours and be tired and exhausted and not want to be there, but you also don't want to prepare for a team for 2 hours and not know anything about them. Like, I feel like that's the best approach, is the Tony Dungy, like, be right in the middle of preparation. Is that the way you feel?
No, I'm with you. It's a fine line. You can't go in thinking that you're going to face a very specific game plan, and then all of a sudden, when that doesn't happen, your kids looked caught off guard. But you also can't go in there not knowing anything about guys, and then all of a sudden going, oh, well, we just weren't prepared. So it's what I always tell our guys is it's more of a, we need to take care of what we do. Here's our game plan. Here's how we're going to succeed. And it's a simplistic approach, but there's some detail that's done internally to make kids feel like they're prepared, but they also have the ability to be free and just go out and play.
Well, Pat, on that note, do you want to let everybody know where we can find you on Twitter, and when we can see you guys? Who you guys got in the first round of the NBC World Series?
The bracket should be released tomorrow, I believe, if not Tuesday morning. All that information will be at NBC World Series. That's their Snapchat name and their Twitter name. And then every game is going to be live streamed on YouTube at their channel, which is NBC World Series. So, all that will be there. I know the GSWL Twitter account should be working. If not, you can find all that information at my personal Twitter account, which should be J. Patrick Morey. So all that should be released here in the next day or so. But if you're looking for it the day of, the 29th or 30th, when it all gets started, that's how you'd be able to find it.
Okay. Awesome, Pat. Well, I appreciate you coming on. Always a pleasure talking to you. It was a pleasure coaching against you, and hopefully we'll be able to talk again soon. Hopefully you guys can win the World Series and have you back on.
Absolutely. No, it'll be a blast, and I'll look forward to talking with you whenever our run at the World Series decides to be done.
Yeah, awesome. Well, on that note, we'll be back here with Salem here on the Bob Sullivan Show here on LateNightSportsRadio.com.
Who the hell can wait till morning? Talk now at latenightsportsradio.com.
Welcome back to the Sullivan Show. Right here, yeah. Bill, how are you doing here in hour number 2?
Still doing good, man. Still doing good.
Still doing good. Okay. Okay. You gotta forgive me, but we were gonna talk about
My writing and stuff.
your writing. Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So you do poetry readings. You do open mic nights, or you've done them. You don't. I mean.
Yeah.
What is your opinion on open mic nights as far as see? I've done a couple, couple of stand-up comedy things, and the what do you call it? The audience is pretty much the only audience is the people that are doing the open mic nights, and it winds up sucking because they're only up there for themselves.
Well, no. I mean, honestly, man, I think it depends on where you go and like. But at the same time, I can hear what you're saying. Like you said, I used to do them. I'm not saying that I'm against them now, but you gotta go up there loving what you do. You can't go up there.
You gotta love what you do, but you also have to be guns loaded.
Yeah, but not only just that, but you gotta love what you do and be passionate and happy to share it with the audience. So you want them to receive what you're saying, but if they don't, you still love what you do. A lot of times, people, they go up there seeking that validation, and when they don't get it, it discourages them. You know what I'm saying? And excuse my language, but I call a lot of poets nowadays PFPs. And
Poets for pussies?
Yeah, poets for pussies, man. No, not for pussies. Poets for pussy. And what that and what that's saying is that like they're the ones making everything rhyme and getting the whole crowd going and stuff like that, which is good if that's your motive. But you have somebody going up there with content that may not rhyme and that can be kind of scrambled, but it's genuine. And then you have that person going up there who really isn't saying nothing, but the whole crowd is reacting to it. It'll kind of discourage you, but it shows you that people like comfortable ignorance. They won't admit that they enjoy deception, but they like it. They like things to sound good and feel good. All right, put like this: if you are sick, right, and you need to start eating healthier or whatever. Ooh. And
yeah.
And you can take some medicine, you know what I'm saying, and then continue, kind of eating and doing things as you were. Or you can start eating vegetables and doing things the right way. I feel like, a lot of people would choose to take the medicine and keep eating the burgers and the wings and stuff that tastes good instead of hitting the root of the problem and changing it. You know what I'm saying? And that example may not have made sense to nobody but myself, but
I understand.
You know what I'm saying? Like it comes down to wish it's funny, man, because everything that I'm saying and that I feel like that I want to say are things that were never explained verbally to me. It was more so sensed and seen and felt. And so, like I said to you before, it's a challenge trying to put these things into words that I guess I never really attempted to before. But my writing now...
Actually, let me compare it to something. Okay. What you're trying to say is, okay, I don't want to put it this way because it might be blasphemy, but I love Bruce Springsteen. But he his song "Born in the USA," the original version, is very. Nobody likes it. I don't really like it. The general public doesn't like it. The only true people that like it are diehard Bruce Springsteen fans because it's slow, it's depressing, and it's not a song that you want to hear. But he remade it to make it more palatable to record producers and anybody that wants to hear a Springsteen song. He made it more palatable to the Born in the USA that we hear today on the radio.
Okay.
So that's, I guess, what you're trying to say. Like, they're not, like, he's not necessarily making, like, the poets that you're talking about are not really. They're writing. They're writing to be more palatable.
Well, I'll use me for an example. A lot of the genuine writers that I know, you gotta understand. I don't think no one wakes up one day and is like, I want to start writing. I want to start, like, no. I want to start writing on paper what I wish I could say out loud. No, man, like, pretty much I started writing, man, because I couldn't leave. I felt like, all right, you gotta understand, loneliness is not really being by yourself with, like, nobody around you. It's just
not being satisfied with the company that you keep.
Yeah, but yeah, more so you can't communicate properly how you feel, like, and what you have to say to people around you. That's what makes somebody lonely. At least me. And so pretty much I just started talking to paper. I started talking to myself, and paper couldn't tell nobody until I showed somebody. So paper became like the most loyal person, you know what I'm saying, that, like, I've ever met in my life. You know what I'm saying? And the way that I look at it now, you know, Lauryn Hill said it. She said it good. She was like,
was that the one that had cancer?
I don't know if she had cancer or not.
Are you talking about the one, the musician?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, I don't think she has cancer.
No, she doesn't.
I hope not.
I was thinking of the girl that got the ESPY last year, and I don't think that's the right person.
But I guess more so what I'm saying is, like, I became. She said it. I'm not gonna try to take credit for what she said, but she was like, you know, I became my own mad scientist, you know, attempting to try the experiments out of myself to see if they work. You know what I'm saying? And so therefore, with her being her own best friend and her little hermit self, you know, and trying these theories and thoughts out for herself, on herself, when she was able to come out of whatever she was going through, she had a solution. She had a serum that worked. You know what I'm saying? And I guess the way that I see it is, you know, honestly, I don't really want you to agree with my perspective, because, you know, it's my perspective. You know, like, it's not. If you agree with my perspective 100%, you know what I'm saying, like, that would show some fault on your behalf. You know what I'm saying? It was a picture that I saw with some words on it. It said, don't believe what I say, like, but seek understanding on what I say and see if it fits for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I'll get back to the writing part. But so yeah, the reason I don't perform now is because, not say I don't perform, because I kind of do, but the way that I do it is a lot different than I used to. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'd much rather have someone sit down and read what I wrote than for me to perform it. Because if you can read what I wrote, that's on your time. You can read it at your pace. You know what I'm saying? And you can go back and reread it instead of asking me to go back and reread it. And I mean, it may sound like I have all the confidence in the world about what I write, but like I said before, these are things that, like, these are theories and thoughts that, like, I know what doesn't make sense, and now that I'm beginning to see what does make sense, no one has ever really, like, talked about this before. So everything that I feel that makes sense to my mind, body, and soul and spirit doesn't make sense to my logic. And no matter what we say, we are a generation in society ruled by logic and first-hand understanding. You know what I'm saying?
That's fair.
And so I feel as if to really have confidence in, like, in, like, what you're saying, like, you gotta be one bad man. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause to admit that you don't know nothing, like no one in their right mind wants to think that or feel that way. You know what I'm saying? Because we feel like without knowing knowledge and intellect and wisdom or whatever, that we're less likely to survive. But in actuality, you're less likely to survive thinking that you do know everything, and then get out there in the wilderness and know nothing. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times I let people, and I don't ever just go around just showing my poetry. A lot of times, because my poetry is for me first. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like making like a 5-course meal for yourself, and then your friends come over and you gotta give them a piece. This is all for me. I went through this. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I have some guidance and some some help writing it spiritually. But at the same time, like this is for me. This is my medicine. And
well, yeah, it's. I mean,
honestly, man, I guess
it's therapeutic to write.
Well,
it's therapeutic to.
I want people. I mean, I feel like I'm trying to say so much without knowing how to say it and stuff like that. But I feel like people have to be willing to be the black sheep in their own life. Like, seriously, be able to like admit what you love and like not the lustfulness, like but like the real you. Like when you were in kindergarten, you didn't give a damn if you wore a purple shoe or a red shoe on the other foot. Like that's what you wanted to do. Like you did what made you happy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And as we got older, we began to seek that validation for what we do. And I know when I was in high school, I mean, I wasn't really, like, I guess, mean to anybody to make myself seem cool or nothing like that. But I observed so much that I knew what people liked and what they thought was, like, I guess you could say. And I became that. And popularity is such an imprisoning, I guess, status because, especially if you really don't know who you are and you're just doing it because everybody likes it. You know what I'm saying? Because you usually don't know who you are. And, like, this vessel that is trying to survive, which is your heart, is constantly being smothered by this fake entity. You know what I'm saying? Like Laura Hill said it good. I reference her a lot, but she said that God told her that the real you is way more interesting than the fake somebody else. And understand this: people. If I love to write, right? And I began to do it for the audience more so than myself. Everyone in the whole world can be like, Terry is such a great writer. Like I love what he writes about. I agree what he writes about, this and this and this. They can say all of that.
But it doesn't matter.
But it doesn't matter. Like, I don't think people understand how unfulfilling and how painful it is to have that hole in your chest. And to have everything that you thought would fill that hole, and that hole is still there. And even more gaping because it got bigger with the more artificial materials and things that you added to it, thinking that it would help. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying, you become homeless or nothing like that to begin to try to understand certain things, but...
Okay, well, let me crack it. Keith, we might go a little bit over time here. I'm sorry. But, okay, the thing that I try to do, there's times where I might go a little overboard as far as shit I say. I mean, you've been witness to that. You've heard shit I've said that might be where it's like, okay, you need to shut the hell up now. But I'm seeing like, it might be a thing where it's like, it might be a thing where I'm like, I say something and it goes overboard, but I'm trying to like test the waters as far as what I can say.
You're walking your boundaries.
I'm walking my boundaries.
Yeah.
I'm testing my boundaries, seeing what I can say. And I'm not trying to. not trying to get away with anything, but I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to offend any. I'm trying to offend people without going over the boundaries. You know, and so like I use, like a party or something like that as a test audience.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
Like we're both at a party, we're drinking. Because that's usually the audience that I'm trying to.
So what you're saying is you're doing your own social experiments on people.
Basically,
I get that 100%. I do the same exact thing.
And okay, gosh, we don't have a lot of time. We might have to talk about this in the next. We actually might need to do a 2-hour entire podcast, which you might need to be on time for. But what I'm trying to say is like. Where I might say something offensive and you might not like, but somebody else might think it's funny. It's like, okay, I'm not trying to be racist, but I'm trying to see where the boundary is as far as, okay, is Terry going to... All right. Is Salem going to kick the shit out of me?
I don't know how much time you got left, but
we got like 5 minutes.
Let's take a whole pause from life and all of that. Well, I guess this is life too. But
this isn't
Let me just put this out there for everyone to really get a good grasp on. And I hate this. I hate to speak on the majority, so I'll just speak for myself. Call it what you want, man. But I love my people, man. Now, that's not me saying that I'm racist. That's not me saying that whatsoever. I love everybody. But when it comes to the minority, man, and it comes to black people, we hate ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, we really do. Like, we act as if we have so much pride and confidence, but yet we still put fake hair in our head, attempting to be somebody else. We still do a lot of things that are so defeating. And it bothers me and that's the pride and the ego. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're acting as if everything is okay, but it's not. And I was talking to one of my good buddies about this, and this whole Black Lives Matter. And, I don't watch the news and stuff like that, but from what I didn't see from it, it's like, let's band together. Let's do this and this and this. Let's do this and this and this, which is great. I like that. But check this out. I want everybody to get a good grasp on this. There have been, and it really hasn't stopped. The cops have been killing black people for a long time, but they've been killing a lot of people for a long time. You know what I'm saying? It's not just black people. It's not just us. Now, what us being the prime target for a lot of things, it is more so us who are perceived as criminals. But here's a key point that I want a lot of people to understand. At least see what I'm trying to say is, so my name is Terry, all right, and let's say I got a buddy Jamal, and we are from 2 different territories. I'll say that. And it's okay for his territory to hinder my territory by killing us and vice versa. That's okay. That's just seen as, black on black crime, and that's okay. That's just kind of how it is. And, unfortunately it sucks, but that's kind of how it is. But if a cop kills one of us, which, like I said, has been happening for a long, long, long time. A cop kills one of us and it's publicized on TV. All of a sudden, this so-called patriotism for being black is created. Now, I would love the day to see black people and other minorities, to start to love themselves, and love each other. I go out of my way sometimes, I try to speak to everybody, but I go out of my way a lot of times to, do the two finger what's up when I'm driving next to the person that's black or something. And it may sound like, oh, well, you don't do it towards a white person. I'm like, yeah, but I actually do. I don't look at anybody while I'm driving. But I do my best.
I try not to look at white people.
Well, I do.
Because they want to race.
Well, I love everybody, man, but I do my best to make up for all the years of self-hatred. And it's so evident, man. It's so evident in so many different ways. Look at our music. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have some artists who are saying stuff that's real, but look at our music. Like, look at our like reality TV show. It's so ignorant. It's so, it bothers me so much. And my biggest thing is like, we're gonna love each other as we should. Let's do that. But you also got, so while this is all going on, you got 12 Years a Slave coming out. You got Django. You got all these slavery movies coming out. At the same exact time that all of this stuff is being shown. And it's like, people, I'm not saying that you got to be conspiracy theorists. I'm not saying that. But if you just look at the what word am I looking for? At the irony of a lot of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? You got movies like Divergent and Hunger Games talking about being different fraction societies and trying to overcome the bigger system. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to look at that stuff. And if you still want to have that same love for the person next to you, then good, have that love. But don't just follow the trend that has suddenly, like, took control. You know what I'm saying? Like, and honestly, you know, I think I like to burst bubbles, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this without.
Right, well, we got like 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay. This would take me probably 45 seconds, but
I don't mean to cut you off.
No. I understand, but I mean, if you believe what you're being told your whole life, you are being controlled, and you'd be like, no, I'm not, because they're giving me the information that I need to go about my day. No, it's a subliminal control. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
You understand, like, the media, the people who pretty much, I don't want to mess the word up, but the people on the news who give you the weather, like.
Meteorologists?
Yeah, I was going to butcher that word. The meteor.
The meteor guy.
The meteor guy. But, you know, like, just begin to, and you don't have to be a scholar. You don't have to be, like, somebody who is just so in, like, this super smart, but just look at your life, and then I'm not saying everyone is miserable thinking about suicide. It's not what I'm saying.
I am.
But okay, I'm here for you, brother. But just take some time.
I'm miserable. I'm not thinking about suicide right now, but I am.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But everybody's gotta like take a step back and look at, I ain't gonna lie to you, I hope I got time to say this, but
a couple minutes.
I looked at I was like, all right, when I was a kid, what made me happy? And people are like, oh, well, you know, playing video games. And I was like, no, but like, what, besides that, like, what made me happy as a kid? And I mean,
what made you happy was doing what your parents didn't let you do.
That was very fun as well. But getting spankings weren't fun, so I don't really consider.
No, I mean, like, okay, like my parents didn't allow us to have video games. Playing video games.
And what you like to do now?
Well, obviously, yeah. Like we're playing NBA 2K while we're trying to talk here. But I'm talking about like when I would go to my friend's house, we play video games. And when I was with my parents, it was okay. You work on playing basketball. You work on playing baseball. You work on playing soccer. You know, you work on your
game
shit.
Yeah.
And so like it was like you play out, like go play outside from 9 a.m. till 11 p.m. and then come home.
All right, I put it like this. It was an end of a song that I was hearing. It was like a speech or whatever, and it was a very long speech. So I'll just say this. But this dude pretty much said like, if you wake up tomorrow and all of a sudden money isn't what the world pretty much moves off of anymore, right? Would you still do what you do as a job as your career? Like if you didn't need money, would you still go in and do your job without getting paid for it, like because you love to do it? And if you say no, that is your job to change it. And I know people have kids, I know people have mortgages, and they have stuff to take care of. I get that, but literally, if you are breathing right now,
if money didn't matter.
But look, if you are,
is that what you're saying? Is like
but it's not even that. Like, because I mean, obviously, you need money to pay for certain things. But I mean, if you are breathing right now, my friend, you haven't died yet. Which I hope you don't. But if you haven't died yet, and you are unhappy, that is your obligation to change that. And I'm not talking about superficial, like, joy. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about, like, true inner peace. You know what I'm saying? Like, to each his own, but I've really been working on cutting back from drinking and, and enjoying my herbal essence, you know what I'm saying? Which are things that, like I enjoy doing by myself sometimes. But if you have to constantly, like, be drugged or intoxicated to have a good time, then something is not right. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, this is a journey that doesn't make sense. But what doesn't make even more sense is staying where I was. So I'd rather die out here in the wilderness trying to create my own path than to walk on the concrete roads that haven't led anybody to where I want to be. And I'll end it right there.
All right. Well, all right. Well, we got listen. We got plenty of time. Okay, because NFL doesn't start for like another month and a half, and basketball doesn't start for another till November or end of October. Really, basketball is the only thing I care about. But we have plenty of time to have more conversations like this on the Bob Sullivan Show. I'd like to thank Keith Grieve for an extra few minutes here on the show. I'd like to thank Salem. Terry.
Yeah, Terry Salem.
Terry Salem. Thanks for coming on. I'd like to thank Thomas Murphy for coming on in hour number 1. Corey for coming on in hour number 2. We will be back here next weekend. Maybe within a whole 2 hours with Terry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
We'll do a whole 2 hours with Terry here on the Bob Sullivan Show here on LateNightSportsRadio.com. And then the following weekend, I'm going to have some players that I used to coach that are now going into bigger and better things out of college sports. And that'll do it for the Bob Sullivan Show here on LateNightSportsRadio.com tonight. Enjoy, good night, and good luck.